The courtroom was already buzzing with tension. Whispers of scandals, sealed documents, and celebrity connections filled every corner of the media coverage. But no one, not even the most seasoned reporters, expected him. Leonardo DiCaprio entered the room wearing a dark suit. People didn't know if they were watching a legal hearing or the beginning of a historic downfall. As he approached the witness stand, you could feel the air change. And when he looked across the courtroom directly at Diddy, the tension reached a boiling point. Then he spoke, and with just a few words, he began to pull back the curtain on one of the most secretive and disturbing corners of the entertainment world. It started like any other exclusive Hollywood invite. A mansion in the hills, black SUVs, velvet ropes, and a guest list filled with faces you'd recognize from movies, music videos, and Forbes covers. DiCaprio admitted he was curious. To him, it was just another celebrity gathering, a chance to network, unwind, maybe sip champagne under dim lights and chandeliers. But within minutes of arriving, he knew something was off. There were rooms you weren't allowed to enter, security guards with earpieces gently steering people away from certain hallways, guests flown in on private jets, some of them barely old enough to drink. And underneath all the glitz, a strange, quiet tension. Leo said it felt rehearsed, like the night was being directed. Not spontaneous, not fun, orchestrated. At first he tried to brush it off. Hollywood is known for its eccentric parties after all. But that uneasy feeling stuck with him, and it only got worse as the night unfolded. People began to vanish. Familiar faces from across the room disappeared behind doors and didn't return for hours. And when they did, they looked different, pale, distracted, like they'd seen something they couldn't unsee. And then came the moment that changed everything. At some point in the night, DiCaprio noticed the door at the end of a hallway, slightly ajar. He wasn't supposed to be back there. No one was. But curiosity took over. He walked closer, quiet, careful. And when he looked through the gap, everything changed. Inside the room were cameras. Not handheld ones. Mounted, positioned, aimed. A group of people stood in line, some nervous, some confused. In the middle of it all, Diddy, giving instructions. It wasn't a party anymore, Leo said. It was something darker, something staged. The moment hit the courtroom like a thunderclap. This wasn't a story about wild celebrity behavior anymore. It was a story about control, about power, about secrets people would kill to protect. After he saw what was happening behind that door, DiCaprio stepped back into the crowd, trying to make sense of what he'd just witnessed. But the night was far from over. He wasn't just at a party. He was inside something built to keep people quiet, distracted and afraid to speak. And for the first time in his life, Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood, realized just how powerless he truly was. DiCaprio tried to leave early, but when he asked for his driver, he was told there was a delay. A man in a black suit, calm but firm, stepped in and said, "Mr. DiCaprio, we respect you too much for you to walk out like this. Please, let us escort you to the lounge." It sounded polite, but Leo said it felt like a warning. They placed him in a glass-walled room, no phone signal, no clock, just soft jazz playing, and a bartender who never spoke. He sat there for over an hour, completely cut off. Watched, but never acknowledged. When his ride finally arrived, he left in silence. But the silence didn't follow him home. Soon after, he started hearing whispers. From insiders, from other actors. One of them said something that made his blood run cold. "You've been to the lighthouse now. You know what that means." At first, it sounded like nonsense. But over time, Leo started piecing it together. The lighthouse wasn't a real building. It was a code. A name whispered among the elite for events that crossed lines that most wouldn't dare approach. It meant you'd seen too much. And worse, that they knew you had seen it. He realized the mansion wasn't designed for parties. It was built for surveillance. There were rumors of blueprints showing secret rooms, control stations, hidden cameras. And people weren't just being entertained. They were being watched, tested, compromised. As Leo put it, the real currency at those parties wasn't fame, it was silence. And once you'd been to the lighthouse, you couldn't unsee it. It was late into the night when DiCaprio decided to find a bathroom. He wandered further than he was supposed to, past the velvet ropes, down a hallway he didn't recognize. At the end was a staircase. Something told him to turn back, but he didn't. He followed the stairs down into a dim corridor lined with storage doors. Narrow, quiet, cold. And then he heard crying. At the very end was a small room with tinted glass. He walked up and looked inside. There she was. A young woman sitting on the floor, knees to her chest, her face wet with tears. She couldn't have been older than 18. Leo opened the door slightly and asked if she was okay. She looked up, panicked, and shook her head. That's when everything changed. A man appeared behind him. Tall, dressed in black. Security. No emotion, no hesitation. He slammed the door shut and said just one thing. "Wrong floor, Mr. DiCaprio. You didn't see nothing. Go back upstairs." Leo tried to report it. He told his team, hinted to media outlets. No one listened. Or worse, they did listen, and told him to drop it. He became obsessed with finding out who she was. Spent weeks trying. No names, no news, no trace. It was like she'd been erased. And that's when he realized, if they could make someone disappear, they could do anything. What he saw wasn't a party. It was a prison, one with chandeliers and velvet curtains. And in that moment, he stopped being a guest and became a witness. After that night, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't just walk away with memories. He walked away with the target on his back. At first, it was subtle. Friends he'd known for years stopped returning his calls. Projects that were greenlit suddenly went quiet. Producers who once chased him down the red carpet started pretending they didn't recognize him. He couldn't prove it, but he felt it. Like something invisible had pushed him out of the room. Like someone flipped a switch and the whole industry looked the other way. Then came the warnings. Anonymous calls. Blocked numbers. A voice on the line saying, "You saw more than you should have. Let it die, Leo." Click. One actor, whose name Leo refused to share, pulled him aside and whispered, "You're lucky you left early. It's not just parties. It's control. It's blackmail. It's a list." According to Leo, there was a real list. Names of everyone who had ever been recorded inside that mansion. People caught in compromising positions. People who could be silenced with a single leaked video or message. He said favors weren't traded with cash. They were traded in secrets. Worse, some of the very people he trusted were tied to it. Directors, influencers, studio execs, even so-called activists. All smiling, all playing nice, all pretending like everything was normal. But he could see it in their eyes. They knew, and they didn't want him talking. Leo admitted he tried to tell someone in power once. Over dinner, he hinted to a studio head that something dark was happening. The man looked at him, dead serious, and said, "You want to be in The Revenant too, or not?" That's when Leo realized, this wasn't about one man. This was a system, one that protected power by destroying anyone who questioned it. And the deeper he looked, the more he saw. Hidden rooms, encrypted chats, even building plans showing how Diddy's mansion had been intentionally redesigned to hide people, not host them. This wasn't Hollywood's dirty secret anymore. It was its operating manual. When asked if Diddy had ties to powerful political figures, DiCaprio didn't flinch. "Barack Obama," he said. He clarified. He never saw Obama at the mansion, but did witness interactions at private fundraisers and campaign events. One time, he watched Diddy discreetly pass an envelope to someone in Obama's inner circle. Leo wasn't accusing Obama of direct involvement, but he said, it's hard to believe someone that powerful didn't hear the whispers. He recalled a moment at a 2016 gala where someone joked, "Don't let Diddy bring the lighthouse to DC." Everyone laughed, except Obama, who just smiled and walked away. That stuck with Leo. By then, he knew what the lighthouse was. And the thought of it creeping into politics? Unsettling. But the silence wasn't just political. Every time he tried to warn someone, he was met with threats or career consequences. One producer told him, "Say the wrong thing about Diddy, and you're done." The deeper he looked, the more people he saw playing along. Producers, tech execs, influencers, all suddenly tied to Diddy, all pretending everything was normal. This wasn't just about one man, it was about a system, and Leo was right in the middle of it.